I mean, Kirsten, there was no tweet in all the tweets. No tweet about the funerals that were taking place over the weekend. Today, you would think of all the things you could have tweeted about, that would be one thing to mention.
Yeah, I really can't imagine what it's like to be a young person today and to see something like this. When all of the time I've been aware that we had a president, through my childhood, through my teens, through my adulthood, the one thing you could count on is whatever you thought of the president, whether it was the person that you liked or your family voted for or didn't vote for, is that in times of tragedy, you could count on them to at least make an effort to bring people together. And to have the president be behaving this way when such an enormous tragedy has happened and these kids are suffering so much and the whole country is suffering because of this, it's unreal.
Jason, I mean, Matt Lewis, conservative writer, said he thought it was shameful for the president to use the Florida massacre as a way to attack the Mueller investigation.
Well, I mean, the one thing with this president is we know what he's thinking all the time, because whatever's on his mind, he's likely to go and tweet it out and tell people. And I think that to a certain extent here, why wouldn't the president go out and tweet when he knows that everybody is going to go and cover it and it's going to drive the Sunday shows and all the coverage? And so whether he's talking about the FBI or whether he's talking about Adam Schiff or he's talking about President Obama, if he's going to go out there and say it is like Jeff said, it's almost kind of like Groundhog Day, where everyone goes and rushes and says, oh, we're going to cover what the president said in the tweets, but we shouldn't cover the tweets. I mean, at least we know exactly what he's thinking.
I guess the one. On his mind? Well, I mean, I don't understand. Like you're saying, but that's what's on his mind. So why isn't it?
I think
why it's on the mind of literally every single person I know.
Well, that's what the president. The president was down there and he was visiting with the people who went to save him. I think the kids very much are on his mind.
And you don't think talking about the FBI investigation and making it about him and making some crazy claim that they didn't follow up because they were spending too much time on Russia is insulting to the kids?
So my pushback to that would be, well, no, and my pushback to that would be, where is the president inaccurate in his tweets? I mean, Adam Schiff is a massive leaker. President Obama should have done more.
He's wrong in the fact that the people that should have investigated this are not the same people who are working on the Russia
First of all, he
investigation.
mischaracterized what Adam Schiff had said. He also, said that he was cleared of collusion. These indictments had nothing to do with that. Made no mention of that either way.
He's doing it for the reason we're here now. We're getting into a discussion about what's true or not true about the Russia investigation. We're not talking about children who are dying. I mean, what was so striking to me today is this JROTC student who's being buried, and they're applying to have this young man buried with military, rights or honors. I mean, it's incredible, dying in a combat situation in the United States, and the president won't even go to these people and meet with them. He wants us to be talking about the Russia investigation because that's where he can sort of pull his strings and get us fighting with each other and not solving the problem. That's exactly why he's doing this.
I think the president, when I was in Arkansas, we had a school shooting there years ago, and Governor Huckabee appealed to the people of the state. Calm reflection, offered prayers and thoughts for the victims and people of the state, and really brought people together. I think President Trump did a fine job with his statement he gave to the nation last week, but he canceled it all away this weekend by the comments that he made. This was a weekend for him and the nation to have quiet reflection, to hug your children, and to reflect on what we can do as a nation to heal and to make sure that this doesn't happen again. And for him to go on and on and on about Russia and speaking more about himself and offering prayers
NASCAR,
for these people.
Oprah Winfrey.
Yeah,
I mean,
that is the point I was going to make. Why doesn't the president just shut up? Just be quiet for a weekend.
He's constantly being attacked.
I don't care.
Well,
children were killed.
So it's okay. It's okay if the president's going to get attacked.
Have some restraint. It's called impulse control. It's called being an adult. It's called being the president of the United States.
He has to just
you
take
cannot freak out on Twitter every single time someone attacks you.
Jason,
that is part of the job of being president of the United States. I mean, he's supposed to be a New Yorker. He's the most thin-skinned person. He doesn't need to defend himself all the time, constantly, especially after a major national tragedy where kids died miles from his winter resort, where he's living in luxury.
And he went and visited with folks who were on this.
That's great, and he should. That was a good thing to do. And then he should have just quietly let the weekend go by and allowed people to mourn, have people come together for solutions,
but that's
and go
not
through
what
that,
was happening
and then pick it all up on
Saturday.
Today.
He was being attacked around the clock. And
so what? That goes with the job, Jason.
It
goes with the job. That this again just highlights how unqualified he is with it as president of the United States. He does not have the temperament. You have to be able to take the hits if you're going to be president president of the United States, and he is unable to do it. So instead, he behaves like an insecure lunatic on Twitter, as opposed to being a mature adult as the president of the freaking United States.
I'm
sick of you guys making excuses for this.
Somehow getting attacked and not doing anything in response makes you a good president?
No,
I think that's a weird lens to look at it.
It's how you choose to react to adversity. And the way this president chooses to react to adversity is to behave like a petulant child. And he goes on Twitter tantrums. That is not okay. And you should not make excuses for it. That's the problem that I have.
I don't think it's
the problem is we don't have a commander-in-chief right now. So we found out our country was attacked by Russia. They actually deployed agents into our country to manipulate our election. And all he could do is talk about himself. We have children getting killed and shot. He can't even console the families. A commander-in-chief is our leader. He expresses our moral fiber, and he speaks out when something happens. He defends the country when it's attacked. And we were attacked twice.
I mean, that's what he's supposed to do.
Even if for every funeral he had sent out a tweet, even if some aide had said to him, here's the name of the person whose funeral is today, or the two names, this is what their lives were like. Maybe say something about them.
We're this close from this president attacking some of those kids for speaking out.
Yep.
And
I would not be. That's too far.
I hate to say it, Jason. Normally, I would never think that a president would do that, but a president who has attacked a Gold Star family, a president.
So now you're going to attack the president for something that he hasn't done based on what you think.
Fair enough.
He could possibly.
Fair enough. I'm just saying this is a president that crosses lines, and I would not be surprised if he did that. But you're right, he has not done that. Look, what would you do, Jason, if under Barack Obama, Putin sent a bunch of spies into the United States. They ran around, meddled in the election, illegally spent money on campaign ads, and it was all orchestrated by Putin's chef. What would you do if the reaction from Barack Obama was, well, I didn't have anything to do with that, so it doesn't matter. And then a few days later, if there was a mass shooting under Obama, and Obama blamed his own FBI for focusing on some unrelated investigation and sort of blamed them for not preventing the shooting. Just turn it around for a second. Just think whenever I think I'm being biased, what I do is, how would I react if someone else or the other party was doing this?
But
just turn around. What would you think if Obama had done that?
But there are two different things here. I mean, the director
didn't
of the
speak
FBI,
out against spies running around in the country.
Did say that they completely missed the warning sign and they missed that tip with regard to the tragedy in Florida.
Right,
that is an accurate statement.
But Jason, but what's not accurate is the president saying the reason they missed it is because they're all spending too much time on the Russia investigation. And you well know the number of FBI personnel involved in the Russia investigation, the Mueller team, is minuscule compared to the thousands and thousands of personnel working for the FBI.
They're two separate things.
Right, they are
two
separate things.
True.
No,
I do think that they completely. I mean, look, they missed. It wasn't just a warning sign. I mean,
they missed it. They acknowledged it. That's terrible.
I also think they're spending way too much time on this whole.
But the president is conflating the two.
So he tweeted up.
No, but you just said everything the president said was accurate. You don't believe that was accurate, do you? The reason they missed is because they're spending too much time on Russia.
I think both of the two things can be accurate. I mean, if I were advising him on the particular tweet, I'd say go and split them up into two. But again, going back to the point, we have the director of the FBI who said they missed this massive warning. And that's something that we should have attention to, because we can't.
Did they miss it because they're spending too much time on Russia?
I think there are a lot of questions about what's going on with FBI leadership.
But I'm asking
right
you, did they miss it because FBI agents are spending too much time investigating Russia?
I have no idea what goes on internally at the FBI.
I
would have split the two tweets up.
The answer is no.
I would have handled it.
Do you know how many people work at the FBI?
I don't know the
35,000. 35,000. Do you know how many people work on the FBI agents work on the Mueller team? I mean, it's minuscule. So the idea that it's
counterintelligence team and investigation has nothing to do with the Miami field office.
Well, hold on, the president is lying. Not only is he, not tweeting about dying kids and funerals, he's lying.
But there's no collusion proven, and that's all we see in the news.
You're changing the subject. He's lying about these things in the tweets constantly, and we all just sit here and be like, oh, okay, it's just another lie. It just seems normal from this president.